This is Geometry Lesson 11.5, Proportions with Volume. And in this lesson, we're going to be doing basically the same thing as the previous lesson, Proportions with Area. The difference is our ratio will be to the power of 3 instead of to the power of 2. And the reason we're using the power of 3 is because volume is a three-dimensional measurement, length, width, and height. And then if we wanted to reverse that, it'd be kind of the same thing. To uncube, we use cube roots. And that's a button that you might not be familiar with on your calculator, so we'll go over that when we need to use it. So when we're trying to find a volume given a length, we need to cube our ratio. And then to work backwards, if we're trying to find a length given a volume, we need to cube root our ratio. Our first example talks about the Eiffel Towers. There is an Eiffel Tower in Paris, France that stands 324 meters tall with a volume of 937.5 cubic meters. The Eiffel Tower replica in Las Vegas, Nevada is 165 meters tall. We're going to try to find the volume of that. So we're going to set up our ratios with the lengths, and in this case we're using heights and volumes, and I'm going to put the smaller one on top and I'm going to put the larger one on the bottom. So the height of the small statue is 165. The height of the large statue is 324. I have the volume of the large one, 937.5. Now if you notice, these units are just meters, and this unit is meters cubed. So my answer needs to come out in meters cubed. So I need to cube my ratio for my heights so that all my answers now are already been cubed, now cubed, now cubed, and then my answer will come out to be cubed as well. I don't want those to look like decimals, sorry. So we're going to now cross multiply and divide. We're going to multiply the two that we know diagonally, divide by the third. So that'll be 937.5 times 165 cubed divided by 324 cubed. Let's see what I got down here. (937.5) times 165 cubed. I use my little caret, up arrow 3, divided by 324 to the power of 3. Tells me that the volume of the Eiffel Tower replica is 123.8 cubic meters. Example B says two cylinders are similar. The large cylinder has a radius of 18 centimeters. Their respective volumes are 5,153 cubic centimeters and 12,214.5 cubic centimeters. Find the radius of the small cylinder. So I want to set up my ratios again. I'll put the small on top and the large on bottom. And we'll do our radii and our volumes. So I see the large radius is 18. I see the smaller volume is 5,153. And the larger volume is 12,214.5. Now notice my volumes are already cubic measurements. So I need to uncube them so that my answer comes out as centimeters, not cubic centimeters. So the cube root and the cube root would go on these two to uncube them so that all of my units match now. So this is something you might not be familiar with on the calculator, but on this calculator, the cube root is the X root button, and it's kind of hidden. If I push math, I can use options 4 or 5. I'm going to use option 5 because it's going to match those smaller blue calculators that I have. So I would first push 18 times, and then I'll push the number 3, and then I would use my X root button. And so whatever number I put in front of that root, that's what number goes into the root spot. So I'm going to do 18 times 5,153. And then normally on a square root, we'd have to close the parentheses, but my cube root doesn't have that. And then we're going to divide by the cube root of 12214.5. I think on the smaller calculators that I have in my classroom, the cube root is kind of right above or right below the square root. You'd have to hit second first, and then you'd push that X root button. But this tells me that the radius of the small cylinder is 13.5 centimeters. Okay, that is it for the notes on this page. Good luck on the exercises, and please let me know if you have any questions.